Let's speak to John Leach now. He's the Transport Coordinator for London for the RMT Union, and he was lead officer in this particular dispute. John, you can sense my frustration, and I think people listening to this will share it. This idea that seemingly as a first resort, you go to strike, particularly over bank holiday. I mean, people are wanting to enjoy that extended weekend. Why are you bringing misery into their lives at an already very, very difficult time?
OK, well, good afternoon to you. I mean, the first thing I would say is, 42,000 RMT members nationally are being balloted over the threats of losing jobs and the fact that they haven't had a pay rise for 2 years despite keeping the country moving through the national pandemic. And it's not something we do lightly. It's not happened for over 30 years. So please put things in perspective. And on the tube, this is about workplace bullying. And it's gone on for far too long with one manager at two stations. Let's keep that in perspective, because that's involving over 200 stations.
On this bullying manager, John, on this bullying manager, what about his rights? Is he in a union?
That individual, of course, has rights, and that's why we've asked for an independent review to be carried out with input from the trade unions. That's why we've asked for that person to be moved out of their situation so the tension can be taken out of the situation.
But a strike over a dispute about one person. You want to bring the Victoria, the Jubilee and the Piccadilly line to a halt over the Platinum Jubilee weekend because of a dispute with one manager.
We take workplace bullying very seriously. And so should London Underground and the Mayor of London. We haven't had a strike like this, anything like this, over an individual for decades.
Well, there's probably a good reason for that, John, because it's over the top.
Yes, there is a good reason. It's over the top, my trade union is a responsible organisation that takes representing its members very seriously and doesn't make things up about things like this. We are going to get to the bottom of it. Now, London Underground need to pick up the phone and get us round the table. We've asked them for meetings and it's not happened. Let's hope it happens this week. But any trade union worth its salt sticks up for its members. These are frontline tube staff who've worked flat out through the pandemic, as did everyone else, and they're fed up to the back teeth with being pushed around by an individual bully. And all London Underground need to do is treat that seriously.
I know, but loads of people, John, have had a really difficult pandemic. Loads of people haven't got a pay rise. Loads of people aren't going to get a pay rise because inflation's hitting 10%. They're not all going on strike on this kind of weekend or any weekend. Why are you in this unique position where you know that you can use this leverage to make people's lives a misery? So that's why you wield it.
I reject your assertion that we do it to make people's lives a misery. We are a trade union. We have to go through the balloting process. We have to go through meetings, and that's right and proper. But what we won't do is tolerate our members being pushed around and not receive a pay rise. We give the employers plenty of notice, and why would we?
But the other thing, John,
citizens like everyone else.
The other thing, John, people listening to this will think, hang on a minute, how much are tube drivers paid? They're paid between 70 and 80 grand. That's more than double the minimum average wage of 31.
You're not right on that.
Well, how much are they paid on average?
Just over £60,000. They earn every single penny of it.
Double the minimum wage. So how much more money do you want them to earn? How much more money do you want them to earn in comparison to bus drivers?
Why are you asking me questions about something that's not in the dispute? This dispute is about workplace bullying on the tube, and on the National Railway it's about people who haven't had a pay rise for 2 years, and they should have.
But nobody's had a pay rise for 2 years.
Well, that's wrong.
So should doctors and nurses go on strike? All teachers who haven't had a pay rise? People who empty the bins?
Doctors and nurses, waste disposal workers, public servants, people in the private sector, people making millions and millions of pounds in the economy, of course they should have a decent pay rise. Why should the working class pay for this crisis?
But the working class are going to suffer, because if big businesses say that these shutdowns on the railways could lead to empty supermarket shelves, dry petrol pumps and power blackouts, then if these companies can't afford to pay their workers because of the result of the disruption on the railways, workers are going to suffer ultimately, aren't they? If you make life difficult for businesses, they're going to have to cut staff.
The RMT is balloting its members quite simply on the main line because no one's had a pay rise for 2 years and jobs are under threat. And we're just not prepared to stand by and allow that to happen. And in the tube, We have been fighting over the defence of our pensions and over the defence of our jobs. There's hundreds of jobs that are being cancelled. We haven't talked about that. And we've got one particular dispute at Green Park and Euston Station, which is about bullying. And we take bullying seriously.
So why June the 3rd then? If there isn't a degree of sort of invective involved in this, why pick June the 3rd when people are on a bank holiday and trying to get to Buckingham Palace? Why target a celebration in aid of 70 years of the Queen on the throne, which is something that I think republicanism stands at about 25 to 30% in this country. So the majority want to mark the Platinum Jubilee and thousands of people are going to be descending on London. Why choose that day then, John?
The staff who work where this manager is deployed and has bullied our members happens to be at Euston at Green Park. Well, no, that's our contention.
Well, he's not here to defend himself,
John. They should move that manager out of the situation and do a review.
Why that Friday, John? Why the Friday?
We have to give them 2 weeks because we want to throw. We need to throw a spotlight.
Cause the most chaos as possible.
Don't put words in my mouth. Please let me finish. We want to throw a spotlight on workplace bullying. They've got 2 weeks to sort this out. Why doesn't the Mayor of London ask to meet me or my trade union, or more importantly, the staff who work there and say, why are you so upset about things? But they haven't. What they've actually done is dismiss our concerns and their employees' concerns. They shouldn't do that. We're a trade union. We represent them. And, you know, what's wrong with that? That's what a trade union should do.
John, I get that. But why that Friday when people are trying to get to Buckingham Palace?
We have thrown a spotlight on that workplace because that's where they happen to work.
No, I know the workplace. What about the timing, John?
I
get it.
Sorry?
No, I get it. I get that you want to throw the spotlight on that workplace. I get that you want to campaign against workplace bullying, which is what you allege against this manager. Why are you choosing that Friday of a bank holiday? There's only one conclusion to draw, that you want to cause maximum misery to the people trying to get to Buckingham Palace. What have they done wrong?
We want to throw a spotlight on workplace bullying. That's where it's happening.
Why that Friday, John? Can you just tell me why that Friday? I just need an answer to that question, please.
Because we always consult the staff who work at Green Park. We consult the members who are going to go on strike. They make the decisions in our union, not anyone else. And their view was that they wanted to throw a spotlight on the fact that that's where they work. And I don't blame them, by the way, because every other single day of the year, they're every other single day of the year, they'll be there, being pushed around. We've got probationers having their contracts terminated and things like that at Green Park Station. So what management should now do in the next 2 weeks is get this sorted out. And it's actually easily done. And we've given them a solution. They've chose not to take it. I hope the Mayor of London is listening to this call, because he could get his officials to pick up the phone and set up a meeting tomorrow if he wants to.
Okay.
Or he can vilify his staff and have us accused of all kinds of things we're not doing, apart from taking our members' issues seriously, which in this case is being bullied and pushed around at work.
Okay.
And on the main line, it's about not getting a pay rise.
John. Thank you, John. John Leach there, London Transport Organiser for the RMT Union, who's the lead officer in this dispute. I say allegedly because the other party in this isn't on the air to defend themselves.